These exceptional individuals transcend time.
हेल' लोगोफोर आं सफैबाय नै क'क्राझार बड'लेण्ड इउनिभारसिटियाव आइजाक बेरि बयनिख्रुइ उन्दैसिन आइजाक बेरि प्रफेसारखौ नायनो थाखाय आंजों लोगोसे नोंथांमोनहाबो नायलांफादो। क'क्राझार बड'लेण्ड इउनिभारसिटियाव बयनिख्रुइ उन्दैसिन प्रफेसार सुबर्न बारि आइजेकआ नुजाथिफैदों। बेनो फार्स्ट टाइम। नोंथांमोनहाबो आंजों लोगोसे भिडिअखौ नायलांफादो। नायदो, डेक'रेसनफ्राबो बिराद मोजाङै जादों। बे मोनानि भिउ नायलांदो। मोसाखावरि बिथांमोनहा मोसानानै दिन्थिगासिनो दङ। नोंथांमोनहाबो अननानै नायलांबाय थादो आरो बे बयनिख्रुइ उन्दैसिन प्रफेसार सुबर्न आइजाक बारिया गावनि सोमोन्दै बिबुंथि होगोन। अननानै खोनासंलांबाय थादो।
Sir, we would like to hear from you a few lines about yourself, your family, and Suborno. So we would like to request him to please share some of his points with us.
নমস্কার। আমি বাংলায় বলবো, কেমন? সুবর্ণ জন্মগ্রহণ করেছে এপ্রিল মাসের 9 তারিখ 2012 সালে নিউ ইয়র্কে, ইউনাইটেড স্টেটস। তো 2014 সালে আমার স্ত্রী ওকে পড়াচ্ছিল 1 + 1 = what? And সুবর্ণ উত্তর ছিল 1 + 1 যদি 2 হয় তাহলে n + n = what, mom? তার মা হঠাৎ করে শিক্ষক থেকে ছাত্র হয়ে গেল। সে বুঝতে পারছিল না ওটার জবাব কিভাবে দেবে। তো তার মা এটা আমাকে জানালেন। এরপর আমি তাকে কিছুটা চেষ্টা করলাম আমার মতো করে শেখাতে। তো সে যখন 4 বছর হয়ে গেল, তো সে তখন আমাকে পড়ানো শুরু করলো। এরপর আমি বাধ্য হয়ে আমার শিক্ষকদের আশ্রয় নিতে হয়েছিল, আমার বিভিন্ন ইউনিভার্সিটির প্রফেসরদের, কারণ ওর প্রশ্নগুলির উত্তর আমি খুঁজে পাচ্ছিলাম না। তো এখন তো আপনারা শুনলেন ও 11 বছর। আপনারা ওর জন্য আশীর্বাদ করবেন। নমস্কার।
University. I'm so excited to be able to speak to you all right now, and I am so honored that you have chosen to help me communicate math and science to you. So I love math and science very dearly, and I hope that by the end of this session you will love it too. So before I think this is an interactive session, so you will get to ask some questions on the spot and I will answer them. But before anything like that, I wanted to give a brief lecture about infinity and how math isn't always going to fall into your hands. So I guess let's start with that. Infinity is a very confusing number. Some say it's not even a number. Some are confused by the concept. It's just something that you can't grasp. It's something that you can't pull into the real world, no matter how hard you try. It's way too far away from anything your brain can comprehend, and so that makes it really weird work with. It's really just a concept of something too big to surpass. But, I mean, can't you add 1? Can't you add 2? So there's a concept of different amounts of infinities, but we'll get to that later. So what does infinity really mean? Why do we use it? Why do we define things like it? Well, we don't just define it for fun. We don't define it because we wanted to. We define it because it's a useful notion. Sometimes to describe the real world, we have to leave it. So, infinity is an example of that, along with other examples like every irrational number, examples like e, complex numbers, pi, the golden ratio, phi. Negative numbers themselves are technically are not a real concept, but these are the things that we have to pull out of real life in order to depict the real world. So sometimes, technically, I think I've heard somewhere that you can do math without complex numbers, but you'll run into notation issues everywhere. It's extremely hard. Sometimes we define things for convenience, not because they are actually a parallel to the real world. So, math can be hard to imagine sometimes, but you don't always have to get a good grasp or a good hold on what something is. Just to be able to work with the concept, you don't have to fully understand exactly what you're working with. Because no one can truly pull the square root of -1 or something that's infinitely big into the real world. In fact, now we have a study of infinities themselves. Well, not really. It's a subtopic of set theory. It's what people call cardinality, which is essentially measuring the size of infinite sets. So, infinity is a very untangible concept, and sometimes we have to keep it that way. Sometimes we can't quite stay within the real world when describing it. So, don't feel overwhelmed if you just can't get a grasp on what you're working with when it comes to math. You sometimes have to rework your brain to get into the details. But once you understand the details and you've done the details, you can mostly gloss over them. But don't let this encourage you to totally ignore them. So, that's all for me, I guess. Math isn't always going to be just a parallel to the real world. Math doesn't just always describe something in reality. Sometimes we have to go a little further than that, and that's okay. So don't feel overwhelmed when trying to understand concepts like these. I guess that's all. So, great.
This is an interaction round, so we have questions from the students. The questions shall be moderated by Christina. So we already have got the questions from the students. So Christina, please moderate the questions that have come from the students, one by one.
Honorable Professor. So first will be from Jamdor College, Section Nursery.
Okay.
A very good evening to you, Professor.
Thank you.
I am Jackson Nursery, the student of Jamdor College, Soraiville, an undergraduate student. First of all, a very warm welcome to our Bodoland. So here my question goes. What made you achieve such a great success?
I'm sorry. That's not what made me achieve great success. So, I don't know exactly how to answer that question. I'm not sure what I would call success, but I mean, having fun doing math and science, I guess that's something you can achieve by simply, instead of memorizing things and having a strict way of thinking, try loosening your mind up. Try allowing yourself to think in different ways and look at math and science from a different perspective in order to be able to flow with it, I guess. more smoothly. I guess playing around with numbers, manipulating numbers and variables is just something I have fun with because I've learned the most optimal methods of doing them, and I can fully understand what I'm working with instead of just having scraps of knowledge and trying to work off of them. So instead of using limited materials, I can build my understanding using stuff that I already know concretely, fully. So don't try rushing. Don't try understanding the next concept when you only have a half-baked understanding of the previous one. Otherwise, soon your understanding will all collapse like a house of cards, I guess. So that's, I guess, why I enjoy mathematics. I'm just trying to understand it in the best way I can and connect it to my real world instead of thinking it as isolated from the real world. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.